Welcome in this new video. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to make those protein brownies. And I know they don't look appealing, I give you that, but it's a fact. Anything that we make with like low in calorie, high in protein and healthier don't look that good. Why? Because if you have like a real full fat brownie, they look good, they look tasty, they are gooey. That is still gooey, that's really good and gooey and they're really nice, but they don't look that appealing. But taste wise is there. And for that, you're gonna just need to follow the recipe which is coming just after this intro with all the step-by-step on how to do toast brownie, which is really high in protein and really low in calorie. So let's start. Alright, before you start, you're gonna heat the oven up at 175 degrees Celsius. And then, like you see, I divide the ingredients into wet and dry ingredients. You're gonna start with the wet ingredients. For that, I'm gonna start with yogurt. So I took a low-fat yogurt. I took that one, but you can take Greek style, you can take Alpro if you want something lactose-free. But I go for that one today. Is 0% fat, and I'm gonna go for 120 grams of yogurt. So 120 grams of yogurt. Here we go. Next step, you go for 120 grams of applesauce. I couldn't find it, so I decided to try to find an alternative. So I'm gonna go for light custard cream. It's kind of the same calories, and I like the choice between like rice, pudding, and custard cream. I'm gonna try with that. It's really light in calories, so you have like of course the full fat one and the light calorie. So I decided to go for the light calorie. Hopefully it will work. If not, I will let you know, but it should be good. I think it may be even better than applesauce because it's still as well sweet, and applesauce is sweet. The texture is kind of the same, and at least you won't have like the chunk. So I'm gonna try with custard. Oh, it smells quite good. It's very better than applesauce. So I'm gonna go for 120 grams as well. Here we go, perfect, 120 grams. Next, eggs. Usually in a brownie, you're gonna put full fat eggs, not full fat, but like the yolk and the white. Because we're trying to make something a bit more healthy, we're gonna go only for the egg whites. So 2 egg whites. If you can, go for large egg. If not, smalls are fine. But usually, if you can, go for large eggs. Here we go. So 2 egg whites. To keep going into the wet ingredients, we want something sweet. So we're gonna go for some vanilla extract. Of course, that's optional. You don't have to, but if you want a little bit more flavor, go for some vanilla extract. The reason why I took that one is way more expensive. I think is probably 5 times the price of a normal vanilla extract. If I can't find the one I'm talking about, I'm gonna put it on the screen. What I don't like about that one is really sticky, and it's usually like more glucose syrup, so it's really thick and sticky. So yeah, I don't really like that one. So I went for the real vanilla extract. Again, way more expensive, but way better flavor. And at least you know you got good quality. You go, so 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And that's it for our wet ingredients. So when you got all your wet ingredients into a bowl, you're gonna mix it. I'm gonna start to mix it with that and see how it goes. You can use it as a mixer, but I will go like, you don't need one, you just need to mix it a little bit around. So that's what it should look like. Step number 2, we're gonna go for the dry ingredients. For that, we're gonna start with the protein powder. So you want 40 grams of protein powder. I will recommend chocolate. You can go for vanilla, but I will recommend chocolate protein powder because you want to stay in the brownie team. If you can, chocolate protein powder is the best. So you go for 40 grams. Is a bit more than 1 scoop. Here we go, 40 grams. Next, you want some cocoa powder. Usually we add, when you do make like real brownie, you take like some butter and you melt it with dark chocolate. And that kind of give the nice color of the brownie. Of course, today we don't want to use the butter, we don't want to use the chocolate, so cocoa powder, it will be, for that we're gonna go for 60 grams. Here we go, 60 gram of cocoa powder. Then you can go for flour or like grounded oats or oat flour, but I'm gonna go for plain flour today. One, because that's what I have at home. I got plain flour. Two, I got oats, but they're not like in a flour kind of form. So you can of course go for normal flour. It will be a little bit higher in calorie because we only put 30 gram in, is barely noticeable. So we're gonna go for 30 gram of oats. Then we're gonna go for baking powder, around 1 tablespoon of baking teaspoon of baking powder. And to finish with the dry and wet ingredients, we're gonna go for some stevia. You can add some sugar-free maple syrup. You can add some stevia, any kind of sweetener that you can find. It can be, like I said, maple syrup or any type of syrup that you want. But we're gonna go for some stevia. You're gonna go for 1 to 2 teaspoons of stevia. Don't put too much in it because it's really, really strong. When that's done, you're gonna mix everything together. So when you mix, it's gonna start to first look like a paste. So when it looks like that, you keep mixing, and if it doesn't change, you can add a little bit of milk until it gets the texture that you want. Last step, when you get the texture that you want, so don't forget you can add a little bit of milk or a little bit of liquid to kind of make it a bit more smooth. You can add some chocolate. Of course, it's gonna depend on you. More chocolate you add, of course, more calorie you're gonna add. But I find in a brownie, you want that texture, you want those little bit of crunch, because that's what made a brownie. A brownie is not only about the chocolate, like of the brownie, it's also the chocolate in the brownie, those kind of chunks. So I'm gonna go for dark chocolate. Of course, it's not like 70% chocolate, but it's a baking type of chocolate. Usually I want like 60%. And I'm gonna add a little bit of it. So I got here 60 grams of chocolate. I may not use all of it. So I'm just gonna cut it in small chunks. So I got my bowl here. I got my pieces of dark chocolate. Then I mix around. And add the rest of the chocolate. And you mix. For that step, you can use a 8x8 baking tray, but I only have the big one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use those kind of small cake trays, and I'm gonna divide it per portion. So I'm just gonna take 1 tablespoon. And then when that's done, you put it in the oven for 20 minutes at 175 degrees Celsius. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you tried that recipe, please let me know in the comments. Tag me on social media. Let me know what you think about them. I'm going to put the calories and macros on the screen. It's going to be the calories and macros without the added chocolate. I personally like that extra texture, so I add them in. Of course, if you don't want that extra calorie, don't put them in. And with the batch we had, I managed to do like 5 full-size brownie. And try them. They are really good. But you can play with the recipe if you want more sweetener. Add more sweetener. If you want more vanilla, add more vanilla. So you can really play around with the recipe. And what is good is they are nut-free. I've been looking for a long time for nut-free recipes, especially when it comes to cheesecake, brownies, cookies, but like protein version. For me, it was like a struggle to find a nut-free version. And that's nut-free. Usually they add like some peanut butter and some almond butter, but I can't really because I'm allergic. That's why I came up with a recipe. So try it by yourself, and they are really, really good. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.